Hello, money queens and listeners. Welcome to Women Behind the Millions. Let's meet the women behind the millionaires, the women supporting, guiding, celebrating women with their wealth. You will hear from women millionaires, how they got there, what they wish they had known, what got them to be a millionaire, the emotional side, the spiritual side, the practical side of wealth. You'll also get to meet the women behind the scenes helping make it happen. Let's dive into Women Behind the Millions. I am Jessica Weaver, your host, best-selling author of 3 books, wealth advisor, and founder of the Women's Wealth Boutique. Let's start meeting the women.
Hello. Welcome back to Women Behind the Millions. It is a pleasure to spend time with you tonight. I cannot wait to go in tonight's episode. The whole theme is RIP Captive Life. Rest in peace. We are done with you. We are ready to move on. We are ready for our independence. And that's exactly what our guest tonight, that is what she leads with. She is an amazing mentor, advocate for women, gaining more independence in the industry, out of the industry for our clients, all of it. It's just been a pleasure with her being such a huge supporter of us. She is one of our Shiro Award winners as well here at the Wealth Boutique. And she's one of our contributing authors of our new book, Beyond the Broker. It's now out on Amazon. You can go to pinkfixproductions.com, grab your copy. It is an amazing read. So if you are thinking of finding a role coming into the financial industry, or you are ready to break away from that box, the captive firm, a team, a toxic environment, this is your pathway. We have women there to guide you, lead you along the way, and it should take you from start to finish. And then when you are ready to then scale and grow your business and bring more people onto your team, more independence for them as well. And tonight's episode really made me think of, I had a recent phone call with a mutual friend's wife who's been in the industry for her entire career. She's been at one of the large insurance firms for probably about 2 decades. And she now wants to see, should I become a financial advisor, a financial planner, right? You know, we love all the different names that we have for ourselves. And it was so interesting. I was her third phone call, her third advisor that she spoke with. First 2 are men. And one told her she's too old to do this. I was shocked. She's in her 50s. And most female advisors I've found are career transitions. So, and we have 2 at our, actually, probably almost everyone at our firm are career transitions for 2. But like Amanda Stillwell, one of our amazing advisors in South Carolina, she came from hospice, and that gave her so much experience and education. And now she's really able to connect with people when it comes to long-term care, Medicare, that navigating that complex world for it too. We've had Donna, who had a background in budgeting for the military. So, of course, that came into play, being an advisor and understanding spending, savings, budgeting, all that stuff. So, to me, your background is an asset if you do want to become an advisor. Now, the other male advisor told her that age doesn't come into play. I do feel there is ageism here, but not necessarily the older you get. It's when you're younger. I felt that I started out when I was 22 in the industry, and maybe it was just being young and also a woman, not being taken seriously by a lot of people. I remember, and we all have these stories, right, ladies? Menda, you're too pretty. You have to smile more. I'm like, we didn't say that to my brother right next to me. Or you're so self-conscious of how you're dressing, and somebody saying my shirt was too low, even though nothing was showing. It was absurd. Those comments, and that really nicks at your confidence, I have to say. So it's amazing to have people like our guest tonight who advocate for women and make them feel heard, seen, valued in the industry, and to keep pushing them along, keep their confidence going as well. And I hope I gave that to this mutual friend on the phone call. I really hope that I was able to give her some confidence that it's not a deterrent that you're more mature and older, because you can take all that you've learned and bring it into this piece. of it too. Your children are older too. I mean, to me, that's a big hurdle, having young kids and being able to do this. They're always sick, right? Like, they're always sick. There's always something happening. My daughter's on this routine of going to the nurse on a weekly basis, and we have to talk to her every time about it. Um, too. So there are a lot of benefits. So if you're thinking about going into the industry, reach out. Love to have a conversation with you. And I often pass them over to our guest who is here with us tonight. So tonight we have with us Leslie Lipscomb. She's a senior VP at Financial Independence Group. We've had her on the show before. She's part of our first book, Financial Trendsetters. She's in Beyond the Broker. She's leading Financial Trendsetters 2.0. She's a Shiro Award winner here at the Wealth Boutique. So let's bring to the stage Leslie. Hello, Leslie. How are you tonight?
Hello, Jessica. I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's great to be with you again.
Oh, thank you for spending time with us. And I forgot to say, so this is the quote Leslie starts her chapter with. And if this doesn't ignite a spark in you, I don't know what will. It is light yourself on fire and passion, and people will come from miles to watch you burn. And this is John Wesley, correct? I said that right?
John Wesley. That's right.
Light yourself on
on
fire.
fire with passion, and people will come for miles to watch you burn. Yes. I love that. I just love that quote.
What does that stir up in you, Wesley?
Ooh, well, I actually have it on a vision board printed right next to me. So it lives in my office each and every day. And it stirs up a lot in me, quite frankly, personally and professionally. Being in a male dominated industry, sometimes I do feel like I need to light myself on fire. No, I'm just kidding. um, no, being in a male dominated industry, sometimes I feel like, I just need to be different. And to have that fire each and every day allows me to be successful in, again, my personal life, my professional life, and passion for what I do. I feel like I'm not coming to work each and every day. I feel like I'm coming to really just pour into the passion that I have to not only help advisors like the lady that you talked about, just kind of the misconceptions that she was hearing from her existing advisor, but also to serve the families that are on the other end of the advisors that we get to work with every day. So for me, what I do and what I've done for the last 19 years. It truly is a passion. And then I pray a lot for individuals that are, still in their working years, that they can find themselves on a path of passion and not feel like they're in a grind.
Yes. And you show up for us in big ways. And I am curious because you have a young son, similar age to my daughter. How does it work traveling? And you are an amazing mother. You are very involved. When you are home, you are 100% focused on your family. How do you balance all of that?
Ooh, that's a great question. So first I have to give some serious props to my husband. I have a incredible partner in life, and that is my husband, David. He also has a very well established career and travels. It's always really fun when we're both on the road at the same time. That gets a little hairy between our son and the dog and, just home logistics in general. But I have to say it all starts with my home life, and that's having a supportive spouse personally and professionally, not just with, helping with he helps with it all. I think that's really what it comes down to. And there's nothing that he's not willing to pitch in or that he's above, whether it's laundry or grocery shopping. He's not great at grocery shopping, but he does try. Or meal prep or picking our son up from school. He truly is my partner in life. And I think that's really where I'm able to shine by having a person beside me. We run alongside of each other, and I think that really helps us flourish. But also, I'm organized. Everything's on my calendar.
How
So
far out are you planning these things, Leslie? Because I need to do more of this.
Woo! Yeah, I think our calendar's probably planned right now until like July. It's February. So, we're putting things on the calendar in July or even into April next year. We've got a trip, a work trip that's
Mhm.
April of 2026. So we are always, the two of us, we do a great job of communicating and putting things on the calendar. So even if I go out to dinner for work, I'm putting it on the calendar. That way my husband knows, like, oh, hey, she's got dinner right after work. She's probably not going to be able to go get Brewer. That's my son. I'm gonna go and get him. So it just helps us really communicate, even when we don't have to send each other that text message to say, "Hey, you got this," because he knows what I've got going on. I know what he has going on. But really having a supportive partner, ladies, if you have a man that doesn't do anything, God bless you, because mine wouldn't live to see another day. Let's just put it that way.
And it's amazing that Brewer is witnessing this
Yes.
on both
Yes.
sides.
Yeah.
Seeing his mom going out there, it feels like to me that neither one of you felt like you've had to take a step back from your career,
No. No.
having a child, that you both are able to push forward, keep growing your career, expanding, but you come together.
Yes. No, that's a great point. Actually, I have some interns that are with me this week in the office, and I shared with them when I moved into the role that I'm in now, senior vice president, I knew that year I was going to have a baby. And so when I was offered the role, I was manifesting, Jessica. When I was offered the role, in my yes, accepting, I went ahead and let the company know how honored I was to be offered the role that I worked hard to earn, but that I would be taking maternity leave, and I planned to have a baby, but I would be back. And that's exactly what I did. I had a baby. I took 3 months off. I didn't work a day during those 3 months, focused on my child, and came back and dug my heels back in. It wasn't easy. Uh, I'm blessed to be around a lot of other strong women in the organization that I'm a part of, that I could look at each and every day and say, they're doing it too, just like me. If they can do it, I can do it. And, just having those role models around me really helped feed my soul. And being in a supportive environment professionally that supports women that are, working moms, having a flexible schedule. I start my day earlier and end a little earlier, even though I like to log back in after my son goes to bed. But just making it work, and not putting myself on a mommy track. I always knew I wanted to work. I have a calling that really, like I said, I really enjoy. So yes.
Oh, thank you for sharing. We're reading the power code for our book club, and I was on the parenting chapter over yesterday and the day before, and it really got me thinking. So much of it just defaults to the wife, or the bigger chores, the yard work defaults to the men. But it's different when you both are career driven and are high achievers. Traveling, it can't be that black and white, and it kind of needs to ebb and flow, and that open communication, finding a calendar system that works is huge. And I have to say too, being at the right environment and organization, because you're sharing your story about getting promoted and getting pregnant. Whereas Cami, and she wrote about this, I believe, in her chapter, Financial Trendsetters, that she was up for promotion at a bank. They found out she was pregnant and she did not get it. And right, not the right place. That's
Yeah.
not going to foster. And
Yeah.
as you said, right, you took leave, but you came back ready to go. And yes, he might have gotten sick a few times, and you you had to figure that out as you go along, but you have been thriving with it too. So it shows a lot for a financial independence group, that they're able to
Yes.
see that there is so much more to you than just being a mom who's going to give up on her career, and really putting their support behind you for it too. So talking about captive life, right? That's, I feel, more of what you see in those areas versus finding the right independence that allows you to um and I know just from experience, being able to have our own business, being flexible with our hours, does lead to easier work-life balance in a way.
Yep.
So you can dial it up, you can dial it down depending on which phase of life you're in. I'm able to dial it up now more because my husband's work schedule is a lot easier. And I couldn't have done that 2 years ago when we were flip-flopping off of night shift and whatnot. So it's an amazing career for women. Let's talk about, Leslie, the big box insurance firm. Who are we talking about? What can people expect if they're working there?
Yeah, I hate to call them by name because I really don't want them to send me a nasty gram, but I'm gonna do it. But I'm gonna do it. Yeah. So we're talking when we talk about big box insurance companies, we're talking about the Wells Fargos. We're talking about the Edward Jones. We're talking about the Primericas. We're talking about the big corporations that you see on the corner in your local community. Um, a lot of advisors find their start within these organizations, but a lot of advisors quickly after time realize there's more out there for them and there's an absolute better way. I personally actually started my career with was at the time MetLife, now Bright House, at an office that was owned and operated by, again, at the time it was MetLife, now Bright House. So I think it's not uncommon for men and women to find their start at these big box insurance companies, but ultimately there's a lack of knowledge, in my opinion, that exists within the industry for what a life of independence can look like for the advisor, obviously, but also what does that mean for their clients? And we can talk a little bit about that too, really the advantages to the advisor that comes to the table, not just for them as an individual, but also the families that they're serving. What does that mean for those families? So we can talk about that as well too.
Yes, I just met with a gentleman and he works at Lord Abbott, which is a large fund family. And he was talking about even, when you're independent, you're going to have access to so many more vehicles for investments, insurance, annuities, everything. Because thinking of those large firms, it would take years to get something, whereas we are able to get it right right away. Not right away, but we do our own due diligence as well, going through the vendors and whatnot too. He's like, it would take years, and at that point, it might not even be relevant anymore.
Right.
So they really are stuck with what they can do and offer for their clients. And you're right, thinking of our ladies at the Wealth Boutique, almost all of us started at one of those firms. I was fortunate to start on the independent side at my father's firm. It's a little broker dealer, but as I see, and you speak with women, we speak with hundreds of women all throughout the year. It's amazing what a difference it is on that side. And you're more of an employee role versus being the CEO. You're building the firm's book of business, not your own assets, which is the biggest one. And you're right, the lack of education. You sign that contract, you don't even know what you're signing.
Right. Yeah.
The firm has legal counsel. You probably don't. It sounds like a good thing. You sign it. And what about they get hundreds of people coming in as new recruits? What's the failure ratio, Leslie?
Yeah, great question. So, first year failure rate for a financial advisor is 72%. 72 in your first year. Now, by the second year, it's 90%.
So 90% of people aren't making it past year 2.
That's correct.
Despite, and they leave training, right? They're giving you training. What do you think are the main reasons for the failure rate? And I'm sure it's even, unfortunately, I'm sure it's worse for women because we lack the confidence right from the start already. As well, we put more pressure on ourselves, and then we have the kids and whatnot. What are the hindrances to having success in those first 2 years?
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I always talk with my advisors about that we want to make sure doesn't happen is that we never want them to be one prospect away from unemployment. So, prospecting for a lot of advisors, meeting people that they could do something with to change their life, meeting someone that could be ultimately become a client. That is a difficult task for a lot of people, especially finding someone that is a quote unquote qualified prospect. So, someone that actually has a need, they have pain, they need to leave a legacy, they want to protect an asset that they've accumulated, they want to create a pension like income. Whatever the need might be, a lot of advisors have a hard time either starting the conversation with people that they meet or prospecting in general. So the reality is that's one of the just kind of pitfalls, if you will, for the big insurance companies that are out there They might have great training programs, and many of them do. I've heard great things about, training platforms. But the reality is, how do I help you find prospective clients, people that are going to be ideal candidates for you to have conversations with about who you are, what you do, and how you can help change their life? So, one of the things that we do at FIG is we help our advisors build a marketing plan. Understand, first and foremost, what are our low hanging fruit opportunities? What can we do to create outcomes that are positive for the advisor's business with what's right in front of us? So maybe it's a database of clients that we can market to, or maybe it's going back to our existing book of business and offering them long-term care or a strategy that we haven't previously discussed with them, or reviewing an existing life insurance or annuity policy to see if we can better their situation. So a lot of times there's focus on, doing things that are expensive, but it doesn't have to be that way. Advisors, there are certainly ways that you can dig into your existing, just your environment that you're in and your existing book of business. So nurturing that marketing vein within the advisor, I think, is so important. Of course, in addition to training on various industry related planning topics as well, too.
Yes, and it's so different. There's the training on how to be an advisor, right? How are you managing the assets? How do you create a plan? Where does insurance fit in? So different from the training of marketing yourself. And to me, and this is what I was saying to the woman on the phone call earlier, having those authentic conversations. It's not a sales conversation. It's an authentic, are we in alignment? You have a need. I have a solution for it. Do we have similar values? Can we form this relationship that's not going to be a transaction, but it's going to go on and on to? Is huge. And you had such a good point of it, that one, was it one client, new client away from unemployment?
Yes, one client away from unemployment, or prospect away, one prospect away from
One
unemployment. Sorry.
aspect away. Yeah, constantly having people in your pipeline, things, events, seminars happening throughout the year, so you have a nice steady flow. Because let's be honest, people can feel that desperate energy when you are that one prospect away from unemployment. That desperation, you reek of it. We don't want you to be detached from that and knowing there is more coming as well for it too. So yeah, I've seen that big difference. And the cold calling, does that work anymore, Leslie?
I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think so. No. As far as I'm concerned, that is a big waste of time. People call me all the time and they say, "Oh, I want to buy paid leads." And I'm like, "Just go tear a page out of the phone book." I think they still make them. Maybe not. But you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. People are not going to do business with someone that just calls them out of the blue. You have to be, if you're an advisor, you have to put yourself in on a credible pedestal, and people have to understand that you are knowledgeable and that you can help them. And when you can educate people and never sell them anything, just educate them on the why that a product is going to bring optimal solutions to that person's life, the rest takes care of itself. And that's really how we operate at FIG, focusing on, I don't love the word sales. I don't. And I understand it has its place. But if I can educate the advisors that I work with, just like you, Jessica, and the other women at the Wealth Boutique, we focus on education. And if I can give you that level of education that you can convey to the client, everybody is going to win, because our goal is educate the client on the solutions and they're happy. We can get them what they need to bring clarity to their financial retirement. Little Amanda Stillwell plugged there too when I said clarity.
There you go. Yes, making retirement clear. I know their tagline.
That's right. I love that one.
No, but yes, two strong points: the education and the relationships.
Yes.
If that can be your focus, you can't go wrong. If you can take the time to educate and form relationships, it's huge. And that's what women are so good at, which blows my mind. People are like, "You're bad at sales." Are we? If you tell us it's a relationship, oh, we are good to go. It's
So
not
good.
you. We can talk for hours. We're going to prioritize it. We're going to find time. We're going to be considerate. You're interested in something about this, I'm going to send you an article on it. We are great at that. So I think helping women get over that that hump. It's not sales. This is something where you're building a community. You
Yes.
have a mission, you have a voice. Let's get it out there to the world. And having a team like yours helping with the marketing and knowing where to invest your time and resources.
That's right.
You know, Leslie, what works, what doesn't work. And even we've noticed, depending on where you are in the country, things are going to work differently. If you're in a more metro area, more suburbs, farms, that's all going to change. It's great to have a marketing team dedicated to it. So FIG is considered a, oh, where is my notes here?
Independent Marketing Organization, IMO.
All right, ready? So FIG is considered an insurance marketing organization. What does that mean, Leslie?
Yes.
Break it down for us.
Independent Marketing Organization, also known as an IMO. We are, and I like to use this analogy for folks because they can really relate to it. We are the Costco of insurance products. So just think about when you go to Costco, you have like 18 different kinds of nuts. Okay, maybe not 18, but you've got a lot of different kinds of nuts that you can buy, right? You got salted, you got unsalted, you've got the chocolate covered. You get the drift, right? You got all these different options that you can choose from for pretty much everything, but it's wholesale pricing. So FIG, what we offer to independent advisors is we are the Costco of insurance products. You can come to us and we have every different type of insurance product that you can think of. Specifically, we focus on annuities like fixed. You name a rate for a specific period of time and we can make it happen. Indexed annuities that are actually tracking the market, but they can never lose principal. Life insurance and asset-based long-term care. So those are our three main lines of products that we offer, but we work with over 70 plus different insurance companies. So it comes down to right tool, right client. So when we're talking with advisors, we are able to really open Pandora's box of products and dig in to find that right tool for someone based on the needs that they have. We don't pigeonhole advisors and talk about one product from one insurance company. It's this open architecture of products that we can dig into to say, okay, what's available that meets the needs of the client? And then we start looking at renewal rate integrity. We start looking at company rating. We start looking at all these basically score options that we have to make sure that the product that we recommend is going to be the best for the client, not just today, but also for the years to come. Because most of the times, someone's looking at, a 5, 10, 20-year horizon for a plan that we're building for them. Now, in addition to products and having a team that helps advisors understand those products, how they work, how they come into play for their specific clients, we also really pride ourselves on being independent. So this space that I'm in, the IMO, Independent Marketing Organization space, is not quite so independent anymore. After the entrance of private equity, I'd say about 8 years ago, private equity made an entrance into this space. And so lots of IMOs have been gobbled up by these giant private equity firms that are in the business to make money. Plain and simple.
Mhm.
We at FIG, we've remained family owned and operated, and we pride ourselves on that. We've stayed out of the private equity game and stayed in the game of independence. And many of our advisors, given their independence and just their love and affection for being truly independent, they love that. They love the fact that we haven't succumbed to private equity and we've stayed family owned and operated the way that we started our business back in 1976.
Yeah, you're right. And if we're independent, it's great that you also are independent, right? You're taking from the same cooler.
Yep, exactly. Cut from the same cloth and you're really on the same mission, not serving a master and certainly not serving a
Bottom line.
yeah, exactly. Not serving a board that we have to report earnings to each and every year or, every quarter. So I think that's very important.
Yes. How about the team approach? Because it feels you all very much go by the line of having a team. You plug in the different specialists forward to? Has it always been that way at FIG?
It actually hasn't always been that way. And actually, in 2017, we changed our structure of how we conduct business as an organization. So we moved to the team structure in 2017. So before, we all acted independently as one another. So in other words, we had people that were focused on just annuities and people that were focused on just life insurance, just long-term care, and they worked independently in their own silo. In 2017, we said, scrap that. We're going to have a team of specialists.
Okay.
A team is comprised of a vice president of each line of business, annuities, life insurance, and long-term care. And then that team is led by a senior vice president. We also have marketing support and back office for new business for each line of business and contracting. And then we also have support staff. We call them our sales associates that really are super flexible to help with anything that arises that needs to be handled, whether it's tracking commissions, we need to get an exception on a case, you name it. We've got our sales associates. They're really kind of our they can play all the different positions on the team, if you will.
It's a very well-oiled machine because even if you're one of you is traveling, the team gets it. There's a response pretty immediately for everything. How
Yes.
about the role of technology? You've been in the industry for a long time. How has it changed how we operate, how we service our clients? I think a big piece with FIG is existing business insurance cases that we're able to keep track of as well.
So when I started at Financial Independence Group in 2006, I actually was scrubbing new business applications, the paper applications, whenever they came in the door
How
for new
beautiful.
went to the insurance company. Yeah. And at that time, they were probably 35 pages long and they've gotten substantially longer. However, no one is doing business by paper anymore unless it's a transfer document. And that's a 2-page document, 3-page document.
Mm-hmm.
We are doing business digitally. We're doing business through a platform that we call Firelight now. We're signing electronically. We're filling out every form electronically. It is wonderful. It is night and day different than we were 19 years ago. Also, servicing that business. So for us at FIG, one thing that we adore and we can't talk enough about is what we call our life cycle. And life cycle not only allows advisors to service their in-force book of business, see information like how is an annuity allocated, who's the beneficiary, when was the start date, what's the tax status, everything you can possibly imagine regarding a policy that's been put in force. But then they also can manage their book of business and see features that could ultimately help enhance a person's annuity or life insurance product. So in other words, if they purchase something that they've had for a while, can we take that product and move it out of an old vehicle and put it into a new vehicle? So we like to do analysis on our vehicles, annuities or life insurance, if you will, to say, is there a better solution? Is there something out there that the client could have that's better than what they purchased years ago? So our life cycle allows us to compare and contrast. We call it a refinance review very easily with data integration that we have from the insurance companies that we work with. So we love technology. That's probably an understatement.
I remember we did a transition when I was part of my father's firm. And this was, oh gosh, when was this? 2015. Okay. Still paper. And we had, I don't know, 1,100 accounts to come over. They sent us all the paperwork because back then, no DocuSign, e-signatures. Do you remember in the Santa Claus movie when he comes home and they bring the lists and he has to check it twice, the boxes? That's what it felt like when we walked into the office. Wow, was that overwhelming? I mean, the anxiety, the stress that ensued from that. And then, recent transitions, and as we're bringing more advisors over too, the DocuSign, I mean, when you compare that ahead of, it's so much easier keeping track of it and all the forms and whatnot. It's allowed us to become so much more efficient. Where do you see technology going in the future, Leslie, in our industry?
Yeah. So I'm hopeful. I'm going to manifest this. I'm hopeful that we see less paper, even though we have substantially less paper than we did many years ago. Um, Maybe I'm hoping that we have no paper through, you know, logging into accounts with two-factor authentication or maybe other layers of security that can come into play. My hope is one day we will be a completely paperless industry, Lord
Mhm.
willing. Um, and more transfers can be done without filling out paper documents. How can we electronically submit those documents? Also, servicing the business. Advisors today, a lot of things still have to be done, whether it's a requirement of distribution request, beneficiary change. I'd love to see all of that being done digitally as well, too. But ultimately, I think technologies, it's only going to continue to enhance the life of an investor and help them have better clarity into what they've purchased, that lens of understanding for the products that they've chosen, um, you know, to create their financial wellness that they have.
Yes, I would say the same the more transparency
More
for the clients, which is huge. They're not so much in the dark. They're seeing it in real time on a regular basis. Easy for us to communicate and educate them as they can see it. Better visuals. We're such visual learners, right? And then you start talking about multiple numbers and years and whatnot. Makes it so much easier. Leslie, thinking back to transitioning over to independence, what do you think are the biggest hurdles women face with this?
the naysayers. I think that's
Mhm.
that's number one. I think for a lot of women, these thoughts may pop into their head, but they're scared of what the future will look like for them. And if they voice their desires, a lot of times they're going to hear those failure rates. And the reality is, if you have the right partner, uh, you're going to have some serious opportunity for success. Again, I go back to Amanda Stillwell, one of our advisors. She's in her second year as an independent advisor. She's one of our top advisors at FIG. She's one of my favorites. Don't tell her I said it. But she's one of our top advisors and she succeeded. She has done everything that we have asked her to do. So I think plugging into the right partner
Mhm.
and doing what they tell you to do. Make sure it's the right partner, someone that has been down the path, someone that can guide you and take you in the direction that ultimately is going to lead you to success. And also someone that's going to invest in you, not just time, but maybe also some monetary investment as well too. I think that's a very important factor, especially in a partnership. So
Yeah.
don't listen to the haters. I think that's one of my most important lessons for any woman or word of advice. Call me because I certainly am not going to hate on you. I'm going to love on you.
Yes. And yeah, to get a different perspective, because there are people that are going to scare the daylights out of you. You're going to get sued. This is going to fall apart. Your clients are going to come with you. And most of the time, it's not true, but that gets in our head and we start to second guess it. Um, I think also, what do you think, Leslie, for women, now's not a good time. So
It's
we
never
push
gonna
it
be a
out.
good time. It's like having a baby. It's never a good time. It's never gonna be a good time. So if you just keep waiting, then it's never gonna happen. So just do it.
Exactly. Don't wait. I hear too. Wait, I'm going to wait until I get bigger or I'm going to wait until I hire people. It's just going to make it harder. It's just going to make it harder to move over.
Yeah.
Um, for it too, there's going to be more legal consequences for it. So you want to get started in the right place as soon as you can. And I'd say, talk about not the right time, right? I remember when one transition, it was COVID. My husband's a first responder, and I just had my second kid. Talk about not a good time. Dad, not a good time. But, you gotta eventually you have to trust, and you have to take that leap of faith. It's easier when you have people like Leslie there. They're like, "Come on, it's really nice over here. You can see what it's like. We'll spend time together. We're gonna have structure around it as well." How about the side effects of going independent? Ooh, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I would compare it to if someone were to offer me a salaried job right now, I would laugh at them. I would say absolutely not. Why? Because you reap the benefits of what you give. And so that holds very true in going independent. You are going to reap the benefits of what you put into your business when you go into independent. The time, the energy, the effort, the more you give, the more you're going to get in return. And I think in this industry, we don't have a salary. As an advisor, you are going to thrive based off of the amount of work, the abundance of work and energy that you put into your business. And so I think I would say be prepared for lots of curves in the road and maybe some late nights. But ultimately, in the end, it's going to be well worth it.
Yes, I love how you said that, and it made me think of when you have that salaried job, right? You're not betting on yourself, right? You're betting on the company, and it's such a mind shift of that confidence and trust in yourself. I remember somebody saying when you work for somebody, they're the reason you get out of bed in the morning, right? They're
Right.
pulling you out of bed. When you work for yourself or in a commission role, you are getting yourself out of bed. And it might not be the right fit for everybody, but I would love to see more women have that confidence and trust in themselves. I know we talk about this a lot. We do so many events. I think the community is a huge support around this too to get women over that hump of that they can trust that they will show up. They can find the right people to support them. And if you're gonna invest $100,000, invest it on yourself.
Right.
Bet it on yourself, um, and see where it goes too. How long do you think the transition takes, Leslie? Right, I'm gonna join. How many months, years are they waiting, doing their due diligence, doing the research, and then that initial transition over till they feel settled? What do you think that time frame looks like?
So it depends, and
Mm.
it depends on how a person's licensed. You talked about moving away from your father's firm. You had to repaper a lot of those investment accounts. That obviously takes a long time.
Yeah.
One thing that I like to do with advisors that are leaving the life of captive and moving to independence is basically turn the captive light switch off and turn the independent light switch on. And what I mean by that is while you are still working as a captive agent, let's work together to build your brand, to get your website up and running, to have a storyline that is available for you to move right into. So as soon as you decide to make the move, you've already decided to make the move, but as soon as you resign, you can move right over
Yes.
and there's no interruption in your business. You just
Mhm.
start a new business, right? So you're the same person that is starting with a new company name and a new location and a new story that you can share with your clients. You don't have to go dark, if you will. I think that's really important. If you've got investment accounts, it's going to take a little bit longer. If you've got
Mhm.
Medicare clients, it's going to take a while too, because obviously most Medicare agents, they have a lot of clients. But I think the reality is getting the brand settled on the front end before you make the decision to jump is so important. And then after that, it's just taking care of your clients. Give yourself 6 months, give yourself 8 months. The reality is, it does take time. And you want to move as quickly as you can to share that story with people, especially if you're leaving captive environment where people may be going and trying to go back into the homes and the lives of the people that you served previously.
Yes. I love what you're saying. It sounds you need to be more proactive.
Yes.
You can't just resign, hope people find you, wait a few days, few weeks. I love how you said get the things that you can work on ahead of time. Get the website. The website isn't live yet, but all you just click a little button and it's live. You have the social media ready to go. We help a lot of them and get personal brands, right? So there's that bridge to that next business as well. And we've heard it, if you're moving assets over, old company firm that you just left, they're on the phone with their clients probably minutes after you call them. So you have to be proactive. And I think 6 months is a good amount of time. I think you're right on the money there, Leslie, especially if you've done all that work ahead of time and you've gotten them over. Um, I would say make the transition your focus. Don't worry about growing, getting new leads. Just get over, get everybody settled. If you have a large team, have somebody on your team just dedicated to the transition and the paperwork. I mean, that's something that I wish we had done because while you're transitioning, your clients still need help. They still need to take money out of their accounts, update their contributions, do reviews. They help with that servicing. And then you add on this huge project of transitioning over as well. So I love what you have to say about the transition. You can tell you've helped a lot of people, a lot of women go independent as well. Forward to. So let's see here. I think I would love to. Let's take a quick commercial break. We're going to get back with Leslie and ask you a few more questions because we are rounding out to the end of our interview already. It's gone so fast. So, all right, we will be right back with you. At Pinkfix Production, your story matters, your voice matters, you matter. It is a privilege to hear your story because of the truth behind it. But it also takes a courageous woman to be bold enough to tell their story, knowing some will judge you, but most, yes, most, will applaud you. We want you to step into being a thought leader and making change in this world because let's face it, lady, you won't feel satisfied until you make your mark on the world. We accomplish this through several forms of media, podcasts, book publishing, magazines, TV shows, and events. We take you through our 5-step proven process to becoming a thought leader, from getting clarity over your mission, building confidence to use your voice, leveraging the media to declare your mission, aligning with strategic partners, and how to launch your legacy. Yes, we build a platform with you so you can ignite your revolution. All right, ladies, we are back with the beautiful Leslie Lipscomb here. And we just have a few more questions as we are rounding out our interview tonight on Women Behind the Millions. So, Leslie, what are some trends that you are seeing with women in the industry right now?
One of the biggest trends I'm seeing, and I'm very happy to say this out loud because I feel like I've been manifesting it. I know you've been manifesting it for a long time, is more women taking the leap and going independent. So more women leaving the Edward Jones, the Wells Fargo, the big box insurance companies, and finding their way to independence. Also, women leaving private equity owned marketing organizations and moving to truly independent organizations. Seeing a lot of that. The other thing that I'm seeing a lot of, and I've seen it with you, Jessica, as well as a number of other females that I work with, is advisors that are hiring junior advisors. So making sure that that next generation of individuals are coming up in our industry and helping them thrive by having mentorship with successful advisors. Again, like you, Jessica, in our industry, I'm seeing quite a bit of that, which is very exciting.
Yeah, I would love to see more women not feel like they have to take a step back with the family life, that they can keep pushing their career forward. But, doing it, what I've learned for myself, yeah, we can keep growing, but we need the team in place.
Yes.
So it's not so much on me and that pressure that we put on ourselves. So embracing, hiring, building out your team, trusting that the money is going to keep coming in. I think that's another piece that we see with a lot of our women that we work with too. That next levels can be very scary
Yes.
for them. We want it. We see it. We wanted it yesterday. So embracing what does it take to get to that next level, and it's having the right people on the team, having the right partnerships like FIG that can support you. We've worked with Lori, who is also part of our book, with hiring. We're working with her right now for our next hire. Embrace it, ladies. Embrace the help and the support too. Well, we have one more question for you, Leslie.
What makes you a woman behind the millions?
You sweet girl. I love that. What makes me a woman behind the millions is the fact that I work with advisors all across the country, both men and women, that are supporting and changing the lives of Americans through insurance products. And last year alone, over $500 million of insurance products came through my little team here at Financial Independence Group. So, wow. Shaping and changing the lives of American families makes me a woman behind the million.
Oh, that is incredible. Congratulations on your career, Leslie, and all that you give back to the industry. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. And thank you. We'll be seeing Leslie again in a future season as she heads up Financial Trendsetters 2.0. But make sure you grab your copy of Beyond the Broker at pinkfixproductions.com. We'll see you at our next season where we're going to illuminate your legacy and dive into more and more all around what is that legacy? What does it look like from the health side to the financial side, your values, your business, your personal life? All of it is going to be an incredible journey. So thank you, Leslie. We'll see you all on the next Women Behind the Millions.
Hey, money queens, looking to get your wealth to that next level, 7, 8, 9 figures? Follow us on Instagram at pinkfixmymoney and at Women's Wealth Boutique for more millionaire money tips.